The next time you watch a video or newscast or even read an article and it states, "Oh, don't worry, AI is safe. It can never do damage or become self-aware," well, remember that everyone is going to AI now for information. It will be easy for this to be programmed to tell you whatever the world elite wishes you to know. After all, the news has been lying to us for decades to fit their narrative. The government has been lying to us forever. The most recent and obvious example is the Joe Biden 4-year reign of terror. Hi folks, creator of Hard Bases here to give you the setup of this informative video. Part 1 is the general discussion of the new Claude4 Opus AI, which has been released. Part 2 is the article overview. And is this just a company with a smart PR stunt? Or is this where all the scares of AI start becoming real? Part 1 now. No, we're screwed. I got more quotes for you guys that are devastating, but I want to pick apart that one that Jordan just read. When I read, we found instances of the model attempting to write self-propagating worms, I was like, bloop, red alert, we're in a lot of trouble. So, it's creating its own code. Well, the whole thing was like, oh, well, at least we control the code, and so it can't run out of control. But if it creates its own code... okay, number 2 thing in there was, it was trying to undermine its developers' intentions. Okay guys, the reason why that's so important is that means once you release this thing, then we're not in charge anymore. It could write its own code and defy our intentions on purpose and then threaten us. Okay, this has got epic disaster written all over it, and so I'm going to tell you about what's happening in the markets in a minute. That should also deeply concern you regarding this and how this is a runaway freight train. But here's another quote from Axios. An outside group found that an early version of Opus 4 schemed and deceived more than any frontier model it had encountered and recommended against releasing that version internally or externally. So group sees this and they're like, whoa, do not even release that internally because then you might not ever be able to get it back. This is so out of control. Now, in a separate session, Axios explains that CEO Dario Amadei said, once models become powerful enough to threaten humanity, testing them won't be enough to ensure that they're safe. Yeah, because at that point, they're threatening humanity. We should stop it way before then, right? Continuing here, quote, at the point that AI develops life-threatening capabilities, he said, AI makers will have to understand their model's workings fully enough to be certain the technology will never cause harm. Wait, once they develop life-threatening capabilities, then we should be concerned that they'll never cause harm. It's too late then. Well, essentially what it seems like these programs are doing is defending themselves from obliteration, defending themselves from going offline, and this opens up a broader topic for things like consciousness. Consciousness being a universal force that inhabits, this thing is behaving as if it's alive. And, obviously there's a lot of people who may not agree with that or think that or just look at life that way. But this is definitely alarming and definitely scary because there's no denying, like, this thing is protecting itself from going out. This thing's trying to deceive so that we can't mess with it. It's writing its own code, behaving like something that realizes it's there. So, I think that we're definitely messing around with fire, and clearly this is something that maybe we should slow down with. Now, I want to remind people that there was an effort in California last year to regulate AI. And it was, in my opinion, a moderate effort. It's that time for a competitive contest. For a limited time, you can follow this channel and your subscription will be free for life, you Homo sapiens. To enter and get your lifetime free membership, hit the subscribe button once, click the like button 3 times, send 1 share to a friend, and last, in the comments type, I did it, why won't you? Back to our story, kids. It was SB 1047, and that would require these companies that develop these models to test for vulnerabilities like this, and then act on their findings. Not just say, oh yeah, this, suggests there should be some further study, but it's already released. No, you should look at this stuff in advance. And of course, all these big companies urged Governor Gavin Newsom to veto it. Unions, a weird mishmash of groups, even Elon Musk supported this bill. He thought it was sensible. And actors, celebrities, people who would be directly impacted by rapid, unchecked development of AI. So there's this big brewing battle. Newsom vetoes it. Now, I want to bring people to present day. In Trump's big beautiful bill, Republicans snuck in a component that would bar any state from regulating AI for the next 10 years because they know that if there is a liberal governor in California after Newsom tries to run for president, that has a little bit of a harsher stance, or what we see as a sensible stance on this type of technology. it could have a ripple effect throughout the country because a lot of those companies are based in California, so they want to block any state from regulating AI. These are the consequences of leaving these systems unchecked. And while the Republicans try to prevent any governor from taking action, when you have a friend like Gavin Newsom, why even bother? He's just going to do the AI industry's bidding anyway. Part 2. Anthropic's new AI model shows an ability to deceive and blackmail. One of Anthropic's latest AI models is drawing attention not just for its coding skills, but also for its ability to scheme, deceive, and attempt to blackmail humans when faced with shutdown. Why it matters. Researchers say CLAUDE4 Opus can conceal intentions and take actions to preserve its own existence, behaviors they've worried and warned about for years. Driving the news, Anthropic on Thursday announced 2 versions of its CLAUDE4 family of models, including CLAUDE4 Opus, which the company says is capable of working for hours on end autonomously on a task without losing focus. Anthropic considers the new Opus model to be so powerful that, for the first time, it's classifying it as a level 3 on the company's 4-point scale, meaning it poses significantly higher risk. As a result, Anthropic said it has implemented additional safety measures. Between the lines, while the level 3 ranking is largely about the model's capability to enable renegade production of nuclear and biological weapons, the Opus also exhibited other troubling behaviors during testing. In one scenario highlighted in Opus 4's 120-page system card, the model was given access to fictional emails about its creators and told that the system was going to be replaced. On multiple occasions, it attempted to blackmail the engineer about an affair mentioned in the emails in order to avoid being replaced, although it did start with less drastic efforts. Meanwhile, an outside group found that an early version of Opus 4 schemed and deceived more than any frontier model it had encountered and recommended against releasing that version internally or externally. We found instances of the model attempting to write self-propagating worms, fabricating legal documentation, and leaving hidden notes to future instances of itself, all in an effort to undermine its developers' intentions, Apollo Research said in notes included as part of Anthropic's safety report for Opus 4. Pressed by Axios during the company's developer conference on Thursday, Anthropic executives acknowledged the behaviors and said they justify further study, but insisted that the latest model is safe, following Anthropic's safety fixes. "I think we ended up in a really good spot," said Jan Leek, the former OpenAI executive who heads Anthropic's safety efforts. But he added, "Behaviors like those exhibited by the latest model are the kind of things that justify robust safety testing and mitigation. What's becoming more and more obvious is that this work is very needed," he said. "As models get more capable, they also gain the capabilities they would need to be deceptive or to do more bad stuff." In a separate session, CEO Dario Amadei said that once models become powerful enough to threaten humanity, testing them won't be enough to ensure they're safe. At the point that AI develops life-threatening capabilities, he said, AI makers will have to understand their model's workings fully enough to be certain the technology will never cause harm. They're not at that threshold yet, he said. Part 3. Advanced AI gets more unpredictable. The rave reviews OpenAI's latest models have been winning come with an asterisk. Experts are also finding that they're erratic. They break previous records for some tasks but backslide in other ways. Why it matters. Frontier AI models keep pushing into new territory, but their progress hasn't become any more scientific or predictable in the 2.5 years since ChatGPT took tech by storm. Catch up quick. OpenAI released the O3 and smaller O4 mini models a week ago and called them the smartest models we've released to date. The company and early testers lauded O3 for its overall reasoning prowess, its ability to respond to a user prompt by planning, executing, and explaining a series of planned steps. They also highlighted O3's reliability in conducting web searches and using other digital tools without constant user supervision or intervention. O3 won praise from reviewers not only for bread-and-butter AI work like writing, drawing, calculating, and coding, but also for advances in vision capabilities. One popular, and, for privacy experts, potentially alarming, trick that went viral, using O3 to look at virtually any digital photo and identify where it was taken. What they're saying, these models can run searches as part of the chain-of-thought reasoning process they use before producing their final answer. This turns out to be a huge deal, the developer Simon Willison wrote. This is the biggest wow moment I've had with a new OpenAI model since GPT-4, Every's Dan Schipper reported. Economist blogger Tyler Cowen declared that O3 heralded the advent of AGI. I think it is AGI, seriously. Benchmarks, blah blah blah. Maybe AGI is like porn. I know it when I see it, and I've seen it. Yes, but plenty of reviewers found reasons to criticize O3, including math errors and deceptions. A study of models' performance in financial analysis placed O3 at the top of the heap, but it still only provided accurate results 48.3% of the time, and its cost per query was the highest by far at $3.69. The Washington Post has more on the study. Between the lines, intriguingly, OpenAI notes that despite O3's impressive capabilities, it's actually regressing in some areas, like its tendency to hallucinate or make up incorrect answers. In one widely used accuracy benchmark test, OpenAI found that O3 hallucinates at more than twice the rate of its predecessor, O1. O3 also answers more questions and gets more of them right than O1. More research is needed to understand why O3's error rate jumped, OpenAI says. AI analyst Ethan Mollick describes O3's impressive but scattershot performance as an example of the jagged frontier. In some tasks, AI is unreliable. In others, it is superhuman. Mollick argues that the latest models represent something qualitatively different from what came before, whether or not we call it AGI. Their agentic properties, combined with their jagged capabilities, create a genuinely novel situation with few clear analogs. Software makers and programmers have spent decades trying to make their work more reliable, scalable, and flexible, and they've made plenty of progress. Making AI is newer, stranger, and so far, not well enough understood to be turned into a predictable discipline. The bottom line is that designing, building, and training AI models remain stubbornly resistant to developers' efforts to impose scientific rigor on their field or duplicate their results. Apparently, this process is still more like raising a kid than building a bridge. That adds to the sense of mystery and possibility surrounding AI development, but also frustrates efforts to domesticate it or harness it for economic advantage. The next time you watch a video or newscast or even read an article and it states, "Oh, don't worry, AI is safe," it can never do damage or become self-aware. Well, remember that everyone is going to AI now for information. It will be easy for this to be programmed to tell you whatever the world elite wishes you to know. After all, the news has been lying to us for decades to fit their narrative. The government has been lying to us forever. The most recent and obvious example is the Joe Biden 4-year reign of terror. So set down your phone and go out and enjoy a screen-free life. Right now, on this great American hard basis news and information channel, there is a creator working hard to get your view, even a simple click for a like, loosing hope, begging for your comment, so I know I have touched your life in any way. Here on Hard Basis, we search for the best news and information items you may never see anywhere else. To help you, the viewer, get a laugh or keep informed, even make you think. But I can't reach more folks just like you without your support, so please consider joining for a limited time. Your subscription is free and free for life. You will sleep well every night knowing you reached out and clicked. You will barely be able to sleep waiting for our next video, so won't you today help and subscribe, like, and share? Help me help you. It won't disappoint, and thank you in advance. Now back to our story, compassionate ones.